you'd like to try to guess, and I know it's a big, big world. That's like me when I misplace something, even around my little place here, which is not big. I think it's huge when I can't find something and all of a sudden it could be anywhere. But if you'd like to try to just take a stab at what those surprises might be, well, just take a stab. Hi, birthday girl. Rachel had a birthday this week. I just feel like the drum is in order. I'm going to go get my drum real quick. This is an Indian drum that I found over in Brevard. See about the size of the scale of it. It's, 15, 16 inches around, I guess, across. And I got it at this little shop, and the guy talks about how authentic his stuff is and all that. And I don't have a knowledge of these things. Let me set this down over here. I don't have a knowledge of that, so I wouldn't know. So rely on his statement. And when I did the van for those 4 months or so, I had that and most of everything else in a storage unit over in Hickory, and it was an indoor climate controlled storage unit. And when I got it out and I hung it up and I got it out of the box here and I pounded on it, and it was almost like I was hitting sawdust. It just went totally flat. I was like, oh. And I thought, well, it's beautiful. I'm going to hang it on the wall and at least it'll be some nice decoration. And then one of these Sunday nights, a while back, I just thought, I'm going to see if that thing, what it sounds like. Is it still as bad as it was? And it completely came back. I have no idea how that happened, but it did. All right. I mentioned that we have some surprises tonight. We've had quite a day of solar flares today. If you have been sensitive to that and you were wondering what in the world is going on, some really major solar activity has been hitting Earth today. So it's been pretty wild. Let's see. Anybody tried to take a guess? Hi, Melissa. Brenda, glad to have you here. Brenda's in our horary class. You are in for a treat, my friend. It's a wonderful, wonderful experience. All right, good to see you guys. So, any ideas what the surprise is? Have you just thought in your mind what it might be, what the surprise could possibly be? Oh my gosh! What do we have here? We have Kristen. Hi, Kristen. Can we hear you? No, we get you right there. There you go. So, hello.
Hello. So happy to be here and together.
I know this is. We'll explain it here in a minute because people were saying, is Robert Glasscock going to be here? Well, we have surprise again. We have another surprise. So, what do you think Kristen and I might have up our sleeves that would be another surprise? No guesses. It would be Alyssa. Here we are, the team, the Sunday night crew right here together. So let's see. Yeah, Alyssa's got her mic open.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be here and so nice to see all of you.
Isn't that great? Her husband, Kyle, is out of town, and she has Grandpa over taking care of watching her kids. And tell us what happened right before we started. Mercury retrograde, right? Blah, 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 blah.
Bringing the village in to take care of the family. And yeah, my father-in-law's over here to help me with the kids. And about 15 minutes before I was supposed to meet with Thomas, my youngest started vomiting all over the place, and she's got a fever. And yeah, that's just the icing on the cake of what's been going on. So if anybody wants to throw any extra prayers or love towards my little Lily, we would greatly appreciate it.
Everybody touch your computer screen somehow. Touch something connecting. Let's just close our eyes for a second. Say her name again.
Lily.
Say her name again.
Lily.
And say her name one more time.
Lily.
May she be well. And so it is.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She's going to be feeling much better in the morning.
She will. Yes. She absolutely will.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to kind of jump in straight away here because I'm going to just get us started. And then actually, you know, as you've been hearing on the podcasts, I worked really, really, really hard over the last several weeks on this horary course. And we got it out on Thursday, and everything's been great. We've had just a couple little hiccups where people had to refresh their browsers and all that, but really nothing significant that has interrupted any flow of the course. And now my chore is to rest, because I knew that to get it out by Thursday, I pushed a little bit harder than I probably should have, which is my downfall. So I've been taking it easy. And we had this idea. It was spawned that we do group. And so I thought, let's do it. This is a great weekend. So I brought in extra troops. So we're going to let everybody have a little piece of tonight, and then also sharing together in the meditation. How fun is this, right? This is going to be great. Before we started, we did draw some cards from the Chroma Key deck, the Light Seers deck, and I drew one, the Queen of Swords, and I will put all of these in the Facebook group after this is over. So those of you in the Facebook group can see the book, you know, the book, what the book says. Mine was all about communication. So that was my intention for the night then, was from this is basically effective communication. And the shadow side of it was, don't be in a hurry to say things, and, you know, the count to 5 rule, right? So that was that card. And then we went around, and I had the cards all laid out here, and I was waving my hands back and forth, and Kristen went next and said, stop. You know, she said, stop. And I just lowered my hand right down there and touched a card, and that was the card. Hers is a very green card, so I'm going to have to put it in front of something, but it's the Hanged Man card. There, we can put it in front of that sky on the rocket, maybe get a little bit of it, but it's the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man card on the positive side says, surrendering to the will of the cosmos. A good one, Kristen. An intentional pause. Did you hear pause or did you hear intentional? Reflection, letting go. God, this is so beautiful. Embracing the new, realigning with your heart and your purpose. New wisdom found, spiritual teachings, sacrifice, enlightenment. And what's amazing is I've gotten to know Kristen, some of the things that she's working on and some of the especially spiritual goals that she has, and that fits right in with her path too. And the
Feels
shadow
like the
side.
perfect card for,
Yeah, go ahead, say that again.
It feels like the perfect card for the 29-degree new moon eclipse in my 9th house.
There you go. For those of you who don't speak astro, that means spirituality for her this past week. So the shadow side of this is stagnation, self-sabotage, holding on to something that isn't meant for you. I'm going to read all these again. Stubbornness and the tendency to be a martyr. Let me read those again. These are important today. Stagnation. Our economy is stagnant. Stagnant doesn't mean that you and I have to be. Not at all. Self-sabotage. Don't go there. Holding on to something that isn't meant for you. Stubbornness. That's going to be one of the keys, I think, in this shift. It's holding on to the stuff from the past. The tendency to be a martyr. And then the little phrase says, I lean into my inner world of limitless miracles, surrendering to the divine will of the cosmos. Meeting's over. Wow. Okay, I'll put the text in the Facebook group after we're done. And then Alyssa drew the Two of Cups. I think you can see that mostly. Beautiful drawings on these cards. I know a lot of you have gotten this deck. Sorry, I'm on the wrong section here. Hold on. Okay. So the Two of Cups, romantic partners. And by the way, Alyssa and Kyle, how old were you when you guys married? Whoops, we got our mic. Let me.
We were 22 when we got married, but we've been together since we were 14, 15 years old. So it's like 16 years.
All right. So no wonder you picked this.
It's been a long time.
Romantic partners, soulmates. This is so you guys, friendships. They are friends. Alyssa was saying that Kyle's out of town on a video shoot. He's doing some work. And so that's why she's juggling. And she said, I'm really happy that his work is expanding and I really miss our partnership. They have each other's backs every minute. It's a beautiful relationship. They were here in October. That's how I kind of know. I observed. Connected hearts, passion, kindred spirits, joyful connection and cooperation, union, sometimes marriage, duality, love consciousness. That's them. That's their home. What's the shadow? Emotional blocks, not being open to receive love, disharmony, unions disrupted, separation, healing past trauma. And the statement says, I thrive in partnerships and my heart leaps with joy when I connect. I'm realizing, Alyssa, we read these. I just read the bullet points earlier when we drew the cards. I read you the wrong card. I had the card stuck in the Ace of Cups, not the Two of Cups. You have the Two of Cups. This is even better.
Yes,
This
that's
is-
great. That's perfect.
It's a lot better. All right. I will put those in the group. Okay. We've got a couple of things. Let's see. I have a really cool story about astrology. Not that we're not going to do too much. I mean, you got 3 astrologers sitting here. Guys are going, oh no, no, we're not. But I'll just tell you this. I had the prompt the other day that I was thinking about some things from the past, and I had a prompt to do some muscle testing around some levels of energy for various things that were in my past and present. And one of the things to test was astrology. So when I do this, when I'm testing for a range of what something is, I always start in categories of 100s. So I knew that astrology was going to be somewhat high. So I think I started with 300s. Is it above or below 300? So I always narrow it down to a yes or no question. Then I do my little muscle testing and I do the Fred's intuitive awareness method. And what I got was, is it above 300? Yes, it was above 300. All right. And then you just start to narrow down by group. Is it in the 400s? No. 500s? No. 600s? No. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. 700s got to be the no. 800s? Yes. It's like, wow. Absolutely amazing. And then I thought about the connection with the sky, and like this course that we just put out, Robert talks about the way that horary astrology works. And Robert is not knowledgeable of the scale of energy, of Fred's scale. He's never, levels of energy. But what he teaches in this is the concept that it takes a moment of time in your life, the question, and merges it with the sky, the moment of the sky. That's when you put the chart up. And then that presence of God, source, the universe behind the sky, beyond the sky, that ties it all together. And that's the triad. And it is absolutely beautiful. And I thought, because on that scale, 1,000 gets up into the realm of the divine, that this is like the finger of God written on the sky. It's an amazing study. And that kind of brings us to the part that I wanted to just set this up with. As you probably heard, we had a solar eclipse this week. And then the big dreaded Mercury retrograde happened on Friday. The eclipse was on Thursday. The Mercury retrograde was on Friday. And Elon Musk launches a rocket right in the middle of all of that on Thursday morning. And the rocket blew up. So what I wanted to do was shed a little bit of a different perspective than some of the things that I heard on social media and everything. But before we do that, I'm going to move my microphone down here as well. Let's take about 2 minutes and watch the launch from Thursday.
Upper chamber pressure nominal.
Plus 43 seconds into the test flight of the inaugural Starship vehicle. Tower cleared, we're into pitch over. Propulsion reports first stage engines nominal. What a sight from the Grand Canyons at Starbase. We're flying at twice the thrust of a Saturn V heading to space.
Acquisition signal, Circus 50.
We're throttled down and throttled back up. As the velocity increases, the density of the atmosphere is decreasing,
Max Q.
lessening stress on the vehicle. The call out next to now. Onboard view from Starship. And there's views of the Raptor engines on the second stage as we prepare for stage separation. Now, after stage separation, the first stage will flip and begin a boost back maneuver for landing in the Gulf.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the first stage flipping, not the whole rocket.
Right now, it looks like we saw the start of the flip, but obviously we're seeing from the ground cameras the entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation by now. Obviously, this is does not appear to be a nominal situation.
Yeah, it does appear to be spinning, but I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
So, quite a moment there. Obviously, quite an incredible moment. That's the biggest rocket that's ever been launched, and it's the rocket that's intending to take us to Mars, to take humans to Mars. And then all the, especially astrologers on Twitter, were saying, Elon needs an astrologer. Don't launch a rocket on the eclipse and Mercury retrograde and all that. You heard what the lady said. See, they don't follow this stuff and they don't understand what they were doing here. In fact, the intro to the program, the live launch program, showed the top part crashing into the ground and blowing up probably at least 5 different times. So the perspective is what people saw was, oh, the rocket blew up. Yeah, they blew it up. They said afterwards in the aftermath, they hit the button and blew the rocket up so that it wouldn't hurt anybody. The rocket was going to go into space and then just fizzle out, and it was going to try to re-enter, and then it was going to burn up anyway. So they got what they needed. They got the data. They wanted the information. In fact, the failure, if you notice, not all the engines were on. That's something that needs to be fixed. The failure might prevent this from happening when humans are on board or expensive cargo is on board. So this is the challenge of this era where everybody is an expert. And even as we approach these events in front of us in the days ahead, that one of the things to keep in mind and the key of how we're going to navigate this is to basically realize that things are not as they appear. And there's always a different perspective. So Kristen and Alyssa are going to take this theme and bring their own seasoning and their own flavoring to this. And Kristen, first of all, had a really cool story that came, I guess, just in the last little bit, right? That it was, let me unmute your mic here. There we go.
Yeah, actually, it was a story that I had seen originally in a TED Talk. It was David McRaney, who had done it originally, and he had more to his story where he was talking about, it was on survivalship bias. But within this TED Talk, he told the story, and it was wonderful when it comes to perspective. So I'm going to actually throw up a picture of the guy that I'm talking about, is Abraham Wald. And he is a famous mathematician. He actually is a Hungarian, and he was Jewish, and he escaped the Nazis with a lot of his family actually perishing. And so he came to the US and was in one of 11 different mathematical groups that were to help with World War II. So at the time, they didn't have computers or even, calculators that were as easily accessible, so they used people. And this famous statistician is a reason why many fighter jets got to come home at the end of the war, because in the middle of the war, the average, I guess for them to come back, it was about a 50-50 of whether or not the fighter jet was going to come home after they took off. And so with that, he started making up these cards that he was handing out to the people who were flying these planes. And he said, show me where they're coming back and where these holes are from the flights. And so the commander saw these and immediately started saying, oh, I can do something with this right away. And he started to put armor on the planes where all of these holes were. Well, Wall knew that, that wasn't the right thing to do, and he stopped the commander. And here I have his quote here: gentlemen, you need to put more armor plate where the holes aren't, because that's where the holes were on the plane that didn't return. So he knew that the planes that didn't come back had damage to the engine or the fuel tank. And so this would have been a huge mistake had he not caught it and just let the commander, put armor where the bullet holes were. But in the end, all of the planes that didn't come home, they didn't have that data. And he was smart enough to say, no, we need to look at the planes that aren't here, and be able to make up for those, and only have a small portion of armor. Otherwise, they couldn't actually take off or do what they need to. And so we owe a lot of fighter jets lives to this man, and all about perspective, and seeing what's missing. And I think with this coming Mercury retrograde, just kind of keeping that in mind and staying open to all the perspectives can really help kind of maneuver through the things in your lives too. Oh, you're still muted.
I love that. What a great
Yeah, it was a cool story.
analogy. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And you think about, like, whatever is going on in our world, whatever it is, that we can navigate it,
Mm-hmm.
patch it up, fix it, whatever, right? We're going on. That's awesome. And it's like this company behind me. NASA also has a big rocket. This rocket is, as the guy said, it's twice the thrust of the rocket that took us to the moon. NASA has one that's a little bigger than this. For them to launch that rocket is going to cost $2 billion per launch. These guys, they're going to put one of these up for $10 million. That's the kind of innovation that we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. Lean and mean and feisty. And we're going to make it. I do, before we go to Alyssa, I want to catch up on a couple of comments here. You guys are going to love this. There you go, Alyssa.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you.
Yeah, some good vibes for Lily.
Mhm.
And then Brenda, she said triple power tonight. Oh, and I did want to put this up. Melissa was saying that last week's energy, miscommunication, anxiety, crying almost every day, Monday through Thursday, 2 people in ICU. So, I realize how sensitive a lot of us are to the energies going on. And that's why the Fun Astrology podcast, I think, has just worked is that we can dissect what's going on energetically around us, just like you would get a weather report. And you can find all the aspects and everything on a myriad of apps, but it's just that opportunity to talk about a little bit of the interpretation. And what the app doesn't tell you is what you can do about it, given especially the circumstances of today. Because if the app does say something, it's canned. So these are the things that, and then Mary was also feeling it as well. And here's from the You Can't Make This Stuff Up department. My screen paused when you said the word communication, and then you said something about pausing. Oh, boy. Kathy pulled some cards, got the same message. Cool. And then we have a bunch of people. Here is one that we can also remember in our meditation tonight. Their house flooded in Austin this past week from the floods. And it would just be great to send them some healing, quite a bit of damage, enough that it's going to be a journey ahead of them. So let's just send the Krista and her husband. I'm supposed to meet Krista after Fred's event in May. So hopefully we are able to pull that off. Our wonderful Brittany. Brittany got to meet her just idol on earth. And I will butcher his name, so I'm not going to say it, but she got to meet him at a concert in Chicago. That's just too cool. So happy for you. That's great. On to better days. Absolutely. Had to work and just got finished. Had a rough couple of days. I'm not sure who that is, but see, we're getting a theme here, aren't we, guys? This is very interesting. The negative escapes. Meditate again. It's fine. Amazing. Yeah. Oh, Krista, we're thinking about you guys for sure. So hang in there. All right. Well, next we are going to, here, let me see here. Just catch up on this. Oh, looky here. Maybe you guys need to connect. Oh, look at that. Brenda, thank you so much. That is just awesome. Thank you for offering. Krista, maybe you and Brenda could get together on the side. That would be great. Okay, look, we've got a theme. Backyard healing convergence. That's cool. I'm picturing a torch lamp up. Not an anxious person, but last week was tough. Okay. Thank you, Susan. All right. So next, we're going to hear a few thoughts from Alyssa, and then we're going to bring Kristen and I will come back up, and we are going to do a group three-way meditation here that we're going to get started and just see where it goes. And it's going to be wonderful. And we will definitely talk about these energies. But Alyssa, this is something that you do on Tuesday nights. She has her own program that is also on Facebook and on YouTube. And I've been putting it on our page. So even if you don't find her page, you can just see it on this page. However you get there, it doesn't matter, but it's on her Meditative Astrologer YouTube channel and Facebook page. And she does more of an astrological perspective, looks at the sky, and then just leads a beautiful meditation. So I just encourage you. It's a nice get the week started, and then she's right there to meet you at 8:30 Eastern on Tuesdays. And I would imagine maybe this is something that this theme continues on, that we should stay with this week, because these, we're in between eclipses. The next one is on May 5th, and there is a lot of energy right now. So what's on your mind tonight?
There's a lot of energy going on, and Krista, I really liked your story with like the perspective and just shifting your perspective just a little bit. It makes makes such a huge difference. And when I was looking at thinking about what to talk about tonight, I noticed that we had an Antisha point, which is an astrological point tonight. And you don't have to understand the astrology behind it. It's not necessary to understand this example here. But basically what an Antisha point is two points within two paralleling signs on either side of the solstice. So on either side of 0 Capricorn, 0 Cancer. Again, it's not really important to totally understand this to get the example. But you have two signs on either side of the solstice. And there's 2 different points within each of these signs that that they share equal power, they share equal light. So each one of these points on either side have the same amount of daylight within them, although they're very different within each sign. One sign will be gaining light and one sign will be losing light. But they are very different, but the key is that they share a quality of power. They both have the same amount of power, solar light or solar energy within them. And I find it interesting that we have one of these aspects going on right now while we are doing this meditation and while we are talking about different perspectives and seeing things in a different way. And things aren't always as they appear. From Elon Musk's point of view, the rocket launch was a great success. From the untrained eye, it looks like it was a failure. In Kristen's story, they thought they were armoring the plane properly, but really they needed to switch their perspective and put the armor in a different location. And that's exactly what this Antisha is showing us too. We have 2 different signs, 2 paralleling signs that are very different within them. We're looking at Cancer and we're looking at Gemini. One is a feminine sign, one is a masculine sign, but they share these 2 points where we have 2 planets right now share the same amount of power because they have the same amount of light within the day. So in the sign of Gemini, we have Venus, which is a feminine planet sitting in a masculine sign. And then in Cancer, we have Mars sitting at the Antisha point. And that is a masculine sign in a masculine planet in a feminine sign. So I'm looking at the duality of this, and I'm looking at the intermingling of all of this. And it shows me that there's this connection between these 2 signs and these 2 planets that seem distant and seem quite contrasting, but they're intermingling in a way because they share a common quality. They share this common quality of light here. So not all is as it appears. And even though we all look different and we all think different, we all act different, we have different motivations and different drives, there is a commonality in between all of us. We all come from the same source and we all return to the same source. And again, you don't have to necessarily understand the technical terms behind the astrology here to see that we have this intermingling of masculine energy and feminine energy. We have this intermingling of the extrovert and the introverted. We have this intermingling of a fast pace and a slow pace. We have one that gives and one that receives. So we often think of these things like pushing away from each other and pushing things apart, but imagine what they could do if they could work together. They can complement each other. We have a masculine planet bringing masculine qualities into a feminine sign. We have a feminine planet bringing feminine qualities into a masculine sign. So it's that duality. It's that that intermingling of the two here. And I just found it to be a great example of the fact that even though we are all different and we all have different qualities, we all have similarities and we all have a common link. We all, within our own perspective and our own thinking, we all want the same thing, which is an ideal, right? We all want to move towards an ideal, whatever that is, whatever that situation is. And in my searching for all of this, I came across a quote by, let's see, Heraclitus. This is a very old quote from an old philosopher. So says, the unlike is joined together, and from the differences results the most beautiful harmony. Read it one more time. The unlike is joined together, and from differences results the most beautiful harmony. And that phrase to me sums up greatly lots of the different social issues and just mundane issues that we have, especially within the United States, also within other countries. My perspectives from the United States here. So bringing astrology into this, I have a hard time not doing it, but we pull cards, we pull tarot cards and oracle cards to receive messages and to see where the focus is. And with a little bit of understanding, we can do the same thing with astrology. So I feel that that's what this Antisha point at this time of this meditation is showing us, is that there are all of these small differences, but they're all intermingled, and they really make up, they're all just small parts of the whole that come together. So I just want to leave with that quote one last time, because I find it to be really, really profound. And I feel that it could help our society greatly. So the unlike is joined together, and from the differences results the most beautiful harmony. We are all very different, but we are all connected and very similar at the same time.
That is awesome. Thank you for that. What a contrast, right? And the contrast is the potpourri that gives us the beautiful aroma. That's great.
Such a beautiful quote too. Love it.
I do want to catch up on some of what you guys have had to say. Yeah, it's like, wow. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. See, the message is coming in. And you're not alone. None of you are alone. And I love this. So as this has been unfolding, Melissa is saying, don't trust that the worst is going to be the outcome. And I think we all struggle with that in uncertain times. Whether that's uncertain, like you said, Alyssa, mundane, or whether it's uncertain because your house floods or because you lose your job or whatever, right? There are uncertainties in our path. So just, yeah. So Brenda, you'll have to look into that more. Oh, and I wanted to go back here. So this is Sherry joining us tonight. And Sherry, I don't know if you heard, if you were on at the beginning, but there was something that I told about astrology being really high energy. So on the replay, and I don't know if they'll get us for using SpaceX's rocket stuff. I said, okay, we'll take the hit on this one if they do. But presuming that the replays are up either here or on YouTube, that you might want to go back and catch that right at the top of when we started at 8 o'clock. So thank you for that comment. Appreciate that. All right. Let's go to meditation. What a perfect segue. So we're going to do this together. And the way that we said is that all the meditations on Sunday nights are never pre-planned. So I was just going to get us started, and then everybody is welcome to just join in. So I told Alyssa and Kristen both, if they have something that wells up that they want to say, even while someone else is speaking, it's kind of like a meditation jam session, is what we just described it as. So it's like anybody can play, and just improvise. So let's bring ourselves together around this tonight. And I really do feel that it's important for us to have some connection together. So whether it's touching your computer or your phone, if you're watching on the phone, or maybe you just do your heart, because you're connected with the heart, but find something around you that's a connection point with the others. And go ahead and put your hands there. Because this is how we connect with Lily. Boy, I can feel the energy moving toward her. And Krista. And let's just give Melissa a big hug. She is so there for us in so many ways. Let's give her a big, energetic hug. And you, and you, and you. A big hug from all of us. You need it. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Don't ever forget that one. Sometimes that human experience has bumps and bruises and setbacks and disappointments and hurts and fears. And it brings things forward from the past that formulate our subconscious belief system, and that drives our actions. And the whole thing is a great big piece of work. But we chose it. We're here. So like we've heard tonight, let's patch up our wings. Let's use and lean into our dualities. And let's make it one hell of a ride.
In that, I think we should take a few deep breaths and just clean out any stagnant energy that we hold. Deep breath in and deep breath out. 2 more. Deep breath in and out. 1 more. Deep breath in and out. Wonderful. Hearing everybody with the hard weeks that they've had with eclipse season, I think it's very important to continue that through the week and just make sure that you're releasing any of those emotions, not to bury them, sit with them, let them pass, but then move on. Release the stagnant, move back into the high energy. Really embrace meditation this week and grounding. Picturing beautiful spots you enjoy to sit in listening to the sound of water, things that keep you in the moment.
You are this body, but you are also so much more than this body. Your emotions and your feelings and your struggles and your triumphs are valid, but they are just a small part of the journey. A small part of the whole perspective. And coming back to your breath, you can come back to this place of peace and comfort and safety at any point.
Let's take a minute to visualize us doing what we do so well on Sunday nights, and that is gathering around in a big circle. You know, this is, when we do this, doesn't it feel like family? Spiritual family without the drama. We get to connect and hug and send each other energy, and then we go into our weeks carrying that with us. But this is a safe space. You can throw out anything in here and it's going to be supported and encouraged and loved. You can't do that in a lot of situations. So as you picture us around a big circle, let's pass love around to each other. Think of some names that you've seen tonight. Think of Brittany. Precious, precious soul who's here so much and has so much love in that body that doesn't work like yours and mine. But boy, her soul does even more. She's more gifted in that area. Send her love. The folks who have had setbacks, Krista, and folks dealing with cancer. We have several in our group. Send them love. Let's take just a moment to set intentions for this week. All right. So last week was tough. Kind of surprised you, caught you off guard a little bit, was hard to climb out of. What's it going to be this week? Set an intention. Is it going to be love? Is it going to be release? Is it going to be adopting the new? Is it going to be patching the wings from getting shot at? Going back out again? Set an intention for you for this week. Be a powerful creator. And now, just in your own space, command that intention into reality. Command it to the universe. I command a week of abundance. I command a week of being in control. Now I am the voice, like Tony Robbins, his famous quote. Now I am the voice. I will lead, not follow. Command it so. In the name of the Most High, I command, and state your reality. Now from our circle, let's package that love, that energy, and send it out to the world. You know, I've been reflecting on this. If you can imagine what we've heard and hear tonight of how you guys are feeling, can you imagine how the ungrounded are feeling? The unconscious, the people who don't have the tools that we have. No wonder there's so much numbing it all up. So let's send the most compassionate, empathetic, supportive love to this planet that is so lost right now. And while we wait for it to turn, and we wait for our part in it to do whatever we're called to do to help facilitate that change of consciousness, maybe just holding our own space of our own consciousness, our own high vibration. But whatever it is, until that comes, we send love and compassion, encouragement and support to a world that is in badly need of it. So when somebody does something or says something or acts out or cuts you off in traffic or leaves a inappropriate text or whatever it is that comes from that pool, just go to empathy. They're hurting and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to dispose of it. So they act out. It's like kids. So set the intention this week. The card that was pulled earlier was love. Send them love. And the duality that Alyssa spoke of. You stand in your consciousness, let them stand in theirs, and don't blame them for where they are. That's the shift. That's the duality. That's the picture. And then stand for the high ground. So let's send love up from our circle now in the form of white light. Up, up, up into the sky in your mind. And around the world. Share a little love with the world. Alyssa, would you bring us back from outer space and sending love to the planet back to Earth and prepare us for this week to close our meditation?
We've spent time sending all of this love and all of this energy out into the ethers, into your community. Now take all of that light that you envision surrounding the entire world, all of that light, and bring all of that into your being, into your own body and into your own heart space. All of that love and all of that power you send forth into the world and out from your being, it all comes back to you multiplied, multiplied, multiplied. And it strengthens your mind, strengthens your heart, and prepares you to go forward into your week, no matter what is behind you or what is in front of you. Because you know that you have this strength and this power and this divinity that is within each and every one of us. And that is the commonality between all of us. Remember that and bring that forward into your week. That we are all different and we are all on different paths, but we are all sharing in the fact that we are on a path that is individual to each one of us. So at the same time, while that path is different, that is the similarity between each of us, is that we are all walking our own path. And in the end, we are all just walking each other home and through this life. May we go forward with truth, strength, and confidence, but most importantly, love. Love for ourselves, love for others, love for this earth, and love for understanding the perspectives.
And so it is. And so it shall be. Kristen, what's on your heart at this moment? What's there?
Gratitude, actually. The word just kept coming to me, and I am just so thankful for this space and the people that continue to come here every Sunday and share their energy.
Awesome. Cool.
Gratitude and hope.
Gratitude and hope. Yeah.
Yeah, so thankful for everybody in this group and everybody. Yeah, this community is just so wonderful and so supportive on every level. It's unmatchable, unbeatable.
I'm loving this, that we've gotten to the size that we have 2 people from Austin. So when somebody has a need, boom, there's somebody in our group to help. How about that? That's awesome. This is great. I love doing this. Would you guys join me again sometime?
Absolutely.
I know they have to juggle various things at home, but oh, look. Okay, let's all just go to Austin. Everybody else says we should go.
I love Austin.
It's warmer than up north.
That's for sure.
Oh boy, this is
Thank
great.
you, Melissa. You're always so
Love you
great.
back.
Absolutely. Pam's good to see you back. Krista says, come on over. All right, we're all meet at Krista's house next week. We'll help her. We'll fix it for you, Chris. Just don't worry, we'll fix it. Oh boy, this has been great. Kristen, thank you. And Alyssa, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
you
you
very
both.
much.
Yes, thank you. Wonderful being here, and you're sharing the space with both of you.
Mhm.
Well, you all have a wonderful week, and just stay with that intention that you created and bring it forward. And when the wind is blowing against it, stand in that command, and we'll see you back here next Sunday night. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Love you. Namaste. Good night.